Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back. In today's game, I'm going to cover game 27 of a First Book of Morphy. And we have Paul Morphy with the white pieces, Paris 1858 against P. Chamouillet and others in consultation with the French defense. We're on to the middle game now. Rule number one is have all your moves fit into a definite plan. And yes, I updated the picture. I used ChatGPT to add natural color to one of the old pictures. I might be playing around with some more pictures and just kind of choosing maybe the best one or so. But this game, I found it very interesting. There was one move, which is in the thumbnail, that was pretty much the whole point of this game. There was like 2 pages written for this move, this positional move. And it just highlights that we're in the middle game now, focusing on middle game plans. So let's go ahead and begin the game. We have here e4, e6, d4, d5 with the French defense. Here it says it's a counter-attacking opening. Okay. And here it's just kind of saying that it enables white has the option to close a position with e5. Closed positions were not to Morphy's liking, so we took on d5. Just mentions that this position might also arrive after the Petrov defense, and it has the lines here. Pretty symmetrical position. Castles. Here with white knight to c3, white loses the option of playing c4. And also loses again. So let's go back, right? So once you play, these are your options, right? So here you can support the pawn on d4 with this move, or you can play c4 to gain more control of the center. But in this case, white chose to develop. And again, you lose those possible options. Black dc5. Okay, here says that black has an isolated pawn, but it is its only center pawn. And it is the furthest advanced pawn, giving black more board room in which to operate. And then here we have just normal, natural developing moves. And here is the position from the thumbnail. Here is where the author goes into about 2 pages about middle game plans ideas. I'll try to make it, I'll make it short here. Here, white must evaluate 5 aspects of the middle game. Enemy threats. What are my opponent's threats? Asking what did my opponent's last move do? Well, it doesn't control b6 no more. It now controls b5, so my bishop cannot go to that square, right? In the future, black might use this to play b5. Okay. Okay, so we did that. Does black have checks, captures, or threats? Pretty much, that's what it's saying. And then after you do that for your opponent, you do it for yourself. Does white have checks, captures, or threats? And here, here it says that white does have some checks. They don't really do anything, right? If bishop takes on h7, king takes, there's no like follow up. In terms of bishop capturing on f6, the author mentions that when the bishop recaptures, is good for black because it increases the mobility of the dark squared bishop. Now it's gonna go through all this, where before the dark squared bishop is kind of over here, doing not much. But now, again, if we take the center into consideration, now with the bishop on f6, it's going to kind of cut through the center of the board here. Right, so it says in this position, white cannot make any threats. 95 is not really a threat. So, and then after this, then you assess some material, right? So we've done our opponent's threats. There's no really threats. Does white have threats? Checks, captures, threats? Not really. Material, is the material even? Yes. Is the pawn structure good? Yes. If it wasn't, then that would be our priority, right? We've gone to the pawn structure. Hey, let's fix our pawns. Let's put our pawns in better squares. Mobility. Again, after that, if the pawns are pretty much good, right? Of course, black has a d5 pawn. It could be a target. And then after the pawn structure, it would be mobility. If we had a bishop that was blocked, we would unblock it. So it's just trying to improve our worst piece, so to say. And ironically enough, I think that's what Morphy does, right? When you look at the move, I think that's what it does. So let's expand on this. White's major pieces are developed and ready to move across the board, while black's are not. White's bishops are further advanced and more aggressively placed. Okay, compared to these are more aggressive compared to black's bishops. However, black has, as far as the knights, these knights are developed symmetrically. However, black has outposts on e4 and c4, right? So these are potential landing spots for the black knights. And then after this, it goes over king safety. Both kings are safe. Pawns are in front of it. And no pawns have been moved. Again, it says it's exceptionally quiet position with no threats on either side. Positional features are mostly balanced. The only feature in the position that favors white and suggests a plan is lead in development. So here we count our king is castled, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And we have, let's go back here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So black, if black wants to kind of be the same as white, he still needs to play queen d7, rook e8, and rook to d8. So 3 moves to arrive at the same position, more similar to white. So again, 3 moves ahead in development, that equals about a pawn in an advantage, right? Here it adds about advantages in time. Again, if you wait too much, then your opponent will catch up in development. So you must convert your extra time into energy before the development of both sides are equalized. So here, if we've gone through the checklist, the thought process of what's going on, now you know you've come to the conclusion, hey, everything's equal. It's the same quiet position, but we're ahead in time. We need to cash in and attack, find an attacking plan as soon as possible. And then here, the author says, again, white asks, where can I make a threat? Which black units can be threatened? Where can I coordinate my pieces? How can I bring more force into the game? Before making his 13th move, white imagined the ideal coordination of his pieces. Again, if the defending knight, if this is not there, then we could checkmate here on h7. So the target was an h7. The white queen could cooperate with the d3 bishop to checkmate on h7. White's plan, therefore, is to move the queen to a square, which she can proceed to h7. Again, if you want to kind of reverse engineer this, right, there's a way you can, whichever way makes more sense to you. But again, if we could checkmate, if we could have our queen here to checkmate, that would be a real threat, and we just eliminate the knight for a checkmate. So working backwards, what's the route for the queen to get there, right? The route would be for the queen to go queen f4, then queen h4, now threatening checkmate. Then we get rid of the knight, bishop captures, and then we can threaten checkmate. White's plan to play queen f4 to h4 is short and just 2 moves long. It is flexible. White has room to change his mind. It is made for a specific reason, to create a threat to checkmate. Finally, White's plan follows middle game principles. Number 9, by centralizing the action of the queen, White improves her mobility from 4 squares to 16. Okay, so if you look at the mobility of a queen, if you say, well, what if I play queen f4? Is that an improvement of the queen? Yes. Right. So here the queen has maybe these squares available. Right. After queen f4, now we see the queen's activity has increased. Right. So that was a move that Morphy played, queen f4. Knight h5 just falls into White's plan because it attacks the queen, but we're gonna go to queen h4. Black reacts poorly. And here the book mentions that knight b4, threatening to attack the bishop, was a better move, right? So let's look at this from Black's perspective, right? If now you know, if you see that White plays queen f4 and you know, okay, he's trying to go h4 to h7, then we know that we need to get rid of this bishop, so we go knight b4. So let's go ahead and continue. Knight h5, queen h4, g6, g4, attacking the knight. Again, biggest threat to White. Uses new force. White goes back to f6. Then White defends the pawn with h3. Rook c8. a3. And again, you also, when you're attacking, you want to also take into consideration shutting down your opponent's counterplay. Right? So with this move, again, if you decided an attack and you get pinned by the bishop, now you really can't move the knight. Right now, if you play a4 and then you trade, now you have doubled pawns on c2 and c3 that could become a target. Once this knight moves, then the rook is going to take both of those pawns. So here again, the reason behind a3 is to shut down any bishop pin by Black, right? So now we take away this square from Black. Rook e8, knight e2. Okay, and it wants to go to f4 and then capture this bishop. Right now, if you see it again, it depends how far you see the move, right? You might not see, oh, it just wants to go to f4. Okay, but what if you see that he takes, right? And then it takes. Now the pawn is defended one time. If there's a sacrifice, how could that play? Now the queen is in h6. And maybe the pawns are rolling. So that's something you could see in the future. If you're White and if you're Black, right? If we see it from this side as well. So if you see knight e2, then you got to see where is the knight headed into the future. Might go here and then try to target the bishop. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue. Black plays h5. Black is trying to win a pawn on g4, but exposes his king. Okay, and here it explains that Black should have come up with a middle game plan based around the positional feature that favors him, right? So what's the feature in the position is the pawn. The isolated pawn in the center, d5. So this is a feature in the position. He has the only center pawn and can centralize the action of his pieces after gaining space with the pawns. And here is the here is the let me see. Yeah, so here's a variation that the author was trying to recommend for black. And then you can make the argument, it's up to you. Right here is saying that this is a better position compared to this one. So then that's up to you to decide. I mean, which position would you rather play with? I mean, this one maybe looks a little bit better. So let's go ahead and continue. H5, knight f4. And here again, black cannot take. Right? If he takes, then this is waiting for white. So black goes knight h7. Then knight captures on e6, f captures e6, rook takes on e6, bishop takes on g5, rook captures with check, king f8, queen captures on h5, rook c7, knight g5, threading a mate in two, starting with queen h6, rook e to e7, queen h6, check, king e8, rook g8, and here black resigned. Because again, he saw this is a final combination here. So again, let's recap. Let's go back to the position of the game, which was this one, right? So again, if you find yourself in a middle game position situation where you don't have a plan, then you have to go through the checklist, right? Does my opponent have any checks, captures, or threats? Then if it does, then deal with those. If your opponent doesn't, then you go with your checks, captures, and threats. Well, then after that, then you go with material. Material's even. Pawn structure, is it even? How is your pawn structure? Are you able to fix it or improve your pawns? Then do that. If not, you can look at king safety, right? And then after that, then you try to improve your worst placed piece. In this case, white chose the queen and improved it to f4. So that's pretty much it. Let me know what you thought of this game, and I will see you in the next video.